Yeah, thanks everyone. So my name is Katrin Kieling. I'm from the German Research Center for Geosciences, working there as a project manager in the section Geoenergy. And yeah, the CRM-geothermal project, I'm also the project manager. I'm coordinating this together with Simona Regensburg from GFZ. And yeah, so CRM-geothermal, you can already see the dual use of geothermal is in this case together with the extraction of critical raw materials. So the title is Raw Materials from Geothermal Fluids, Occurrence, Enrichment, and Extraction. And the motivation for this project mainly came from the challenge that we need a really large amount of critical raw materials for the energy and also for the digital transition. Here in the picture, you can see just the amount, the increase in raw materials that is needed if we transfer from combustion cars to electric vehicles, and also how much raw materials are included in such a wind turbine. So it is clear that Europe needs a resilient and preferably also a domestic supply chain that reduces imports, which are usually exposed to market and political risks. But Europe has actually a really nice source under its feet, because we have found that geothermal fluids can contain some of those critical raw materials. So the critical raw materials are actually, it's a definition. So the EU defines a list of critical raw materials and assesses the criticality of these materials, and then puts them on the list or not. And we have seen that some of these elements that are defined are included in geothermal fluids, and that they can even cover a significant percentage of the current and future needs of CRMs of the EU. Actually, Europe's first geothermal power plant was even built on a boron extraction field. So there already there was a combination of extraction of elements and then the generation of geothermal power. Nowadays, it's a different element that is in the focus. So you might have seen already in the news that there's literally a lithium hype, because geothermal fluids in the Upper Rhine Valley and also in Cornwall in the UK have been found to contain significant amounts of lithium. And there's now several ongoing projects that try to extract this lithium together with geothermal energy. So the concept of our project, CRM-geothermal, is to combine the extraction of heat and electricity, but also the extraction of valuable elements from geothermal fluids from the same site. So, and it has clearly advantages. We are maximizing the returns on investment, because for geothermal energy, often the drilling, the borehole is the most expensive part. So if you can use a borehole also for a second purpose, that increases the economic viability of the project. We are avoiding additional land use and also minimizing environmental impact of mining. We are essentially making mining invisible. The project has answered to a Horizon Europe call. It was Innovation for Responsible EU Sourcing of Primary Raw Materials. So you can see that it was actually a raw materials call, not a geothermal call, but we made this proposal to combine the two aspects, and we're successful with the proposal. We are 20 partners. We also have the EFG as our dissemination partner, and in this context, we also have the 19 affiliated entities. And the project runs for 4 years. We are now just starting the last year of the project. We have a large variety of partners. So we have research centers, universities, but also small and medium enterprises, some associations, and industry partners. Next one. Our main activities are, first, we want to establish an overview over the potential of raw materials in geothermal fluids. So we are performing a screening and mapping of CRM content in geothermal fluids. You can see here my colleagues from GFZ sampling in Africa, in the East African Rift, for gas contents. Then we want to determine the source of selected CRMs. So from which host rocks are the CRMs actually coming? How quickly could a depleted fluid be recharged once we have started the extraction? And also what increases the mobility of the CRMs in the fluid? Then the third part is the development and optimization of innovative extraction technologies for some of the CRMs. I will explain this a bit more in detail later. We assess also the environmental, social, economic viability. This also includes the adaptation of standards towards this combination of geothermal and CRM extraction. And finally, we want to demonstrate at the pilot site the extraction technology at the scale of a mini plant. I'm going to go through a few results now. So concerning the screening and mapping, the University of Miskolc has developed this CRM-geothermal fluid atlas. So the fluid atlas should provide public data of CRMs contained in geothermal fluids. We want to preferably include all CRMs that are listed, but of course the availability of data differs very much for the different elements. We have based this exercise on the database from our previous project, the Reflect project, but we have added already additionally data analysis from fluid sampling that has been performed in the CRM project. We have now more than 5,000 fluid data points. And as I already said, those data points, the density of data, let's say, is very heterogeneous. Some only contain the major elements, some contain a lot of information on also trace elements and plating group elements or rare earth elements. So this is very variable depending on what has been measured. And for example, we also have developed a lithium estimation tool. This has been done by the company Inlecom. They have developed an online tool to estimate lithium content on the basis of other element contents and physical parameters. So for example, if you have measured the major anions and cations, but you did not measure the lithium content, and especially for older samples, this is often the case, then you can estimate the lithium content with this AI tool. You can see here on the x-axis the sample number and on the y-axis the lithium concentration. The black line is the measured value and the dashed yellow line is the estimate, and you can see that the estimate actually fits the measured values quite well. Here's a link to the lithium estimation tool. So if you want to try it out with your own fluid sample, you are welcome to do so, and also report if you find any flaws in the tool. The tool also offers some interpretability. So if you put in a sample, here, for example, we have the real sample had a lithium concentration of 212 milligrams per liter. The estimate was then 219 milligrams per liter. And you can see from which of the input elements the largest contribution to the estimate came. So you can, so chlorine and potassium had a large influence on the outcome of the estimation, while the other elements had only a minor influence on the estimate. So I invite you to visit the website and play around with the tool. We also have these extraction technologies, as I mentioned before, that are developed or partly also simply optimized for geothermal applications. We have selected 6 different extraction technologies. Some of them are targeting different elements, but some also target the same. Often lithium is also in the focus. But we have seen already that for some fluids, one method may work very well, and for others, depending on the overall chemistry of the fluid, another one might be the better choice. We have adsorptive extraction by ion sieves, then selective ion exchange procedures. We have adsorption by means of modified biopolymers with crown ethers. Here we mainly target alkaline elements. bioextraction and bioaccumulation. And there's actually just a deliverable finished on the concept of oxalogenesis and oxalotrophy for biorecovery of lithium. Then we have helium extraction by membrane technology, and finally the gas diffusion electrocrystallization by the partner Vito. That's already a method that is quite well developed, but still, of course, needs some optimization. But they have already achieved up to 99% lithium retrieval from geothermal fluids, which is very well. Then I mentioned we have a pilot site in Cornwall in the UK. Here our partners, Geothermal Engineering Limited and Cornish Lithium, are our main partners, but also we have 11 Sources, who are a responsible mining consultancy. The site is in Cornwall, as I said, in the very southwest of England. And at United Downs, we are using actually the technical testing, for the technical testing, the boreholes of Cornish Lithium in United Downs. We have just finished last year in October some consultation workshops on social engagement and and we have tried to gather the thoughts of local communities on how such a combined extraction project can achieve a social license to operate. So mainly what they think, what good practices of a company or a project as a whole would be. And here 5 key themes emerged. The people mentioned that honesty and transparency are really the key points. They mentioned that information needs to be accessible, also that the information has to come to the communities or to the stakeholders, and not that they have to look for the information. The projects need to consider the community context, be proactive in engaging stakeholders, and also think beyond of the project. And then we also had already in preparation for the extraction testing, we had some site characterization and hydraulic testing in Cornwall in June 2023. There we did an airlift test to estimate the productivity index, which was very promising. And also we have done a push-pull tracer test. So we injected an inert chemical into the fluid and then into the reservoir, and back produced it afterwards. You can see here in this small plot. So we have injected the tracer. This is a yellow area over the morning of the day, over a few hours, and we have cleaned the borehole with a chaser, so with 1 borehole volume of clean water, stopped pushing and then started to pull, but actually we only got this very tiny little bit of tracer back. So essentially all the tracer was disappearing into the reservoir, which shows that first the reservoir is very, very permeable, and also that there's high groundwater flow, which just flushes away all the tracer. But that's actually for the lithium recovery a very good thing, because it shows that you have a constant recharge of fresh fluid that is rich in lithium to the borehole. And then I'm already at my main takeaways. So we have seen that geothermal fluids carry critical raw materials that can be co-produced with geothermal energy and could contribute to the aims of the Critical Raw Materials Act of the EU. We see that the co-production of CRMs could lead to a greater number of viable geothermal power plants to, as I said before, maximize the returns on investment. The CRM content and the geochemistry of the fluids are depending on the geological conditions, and with that, it's also the extraction method that is depending on the geological conditions or on the geochemistry of the fluid. But overall, we think that really due to the low visual impact and the minimal additional land use, such a co-production of CRMs is likely to obtain a social license to operate and to really make a contribution towards the energy transition. And with that, I would like to thank you, and I would be happy to receive some questions.